That Franklin Roosevelt. What a character he was. Oh, I didn't hear you come in. Want to know something that FDR and I have in common? Well, we both have bachelor degrees in history, but instead of following his path into politics, I decided to become a teacher. Being a teacher means you have a lot of goals you'd like to achieve. My goals as a teacher are to help students learn about social studies, but also how social studies impacts their daily lives. Too often I think teachers get hung up on teaching the curriculum that they forget to ask themselves, so what? Why is it important to know about ancient Chinese dynasties or the War of 1812? My goal is to help students realize that history is more than dead guys and dates. History in the timeline of civilization has led us to this very moment, and I think it's important to consistently relate history with modern day. Other goals I have are to mold better United States citizens and to have as much fun as possible in the classroom. I want to be a positive adult role model for my students and provide a helpful influence that will lead for their betterment in their lives in and outside of school. This goes along with what I think students should get out of my classroom, which is a great education, new perspectives on history, and events that they were able to establish on their own. Also, skills that they will carry with them, hopefully for the rest of their lives, like the ability to work and cooperate with others. I hope students will leave my classroom each day feeling like they were excited to be there and happy to have me as their teacher. Learning should be anything but a waste of time or boring. But speaking of preventing a waste of time, my ideal classroom starts by placing students in the best possible location for them to be successful. There has to be a vibe of positivity which starts with me and hopefully grows to every student in the room. My ideal classroom also has complete student engagement, whether I'm lecturing or the students are in the process of answering discussion questions with a partner. Knowledge is best learned by making connections between what is known and what is to be learned. I always want my students to understand what it is to construct meaning. I believe that for learning to be effective and meaningful, students should be provided with opportunities to use knowledge in practical situations. That is, opportunities to apply that knowledge. We know that in an ideal classroom, students learn best when they need knowledge to accomplish a goal they consider to be important. This often involves problem solving, decision making, and inquiry based learning. Lastly, in an ideal classroom, teachers can help students develop the mental habits that will enable them to learn best on their own. So, how exactly can we make all of this stuff exciting? Well, I think the key to making exciting lesson plans is bringing the attitude necessary to each day. I really believe that even direct instruction could be exciting if the lecturer takes the time to prep the notes in a proper manner, and the speaker at that point would almost have to be animated when taking their students through this story of social studies. But it's possible. There are also many other ways and opportunities beyond that, though, to have an exciting lesson plan. Lesson plans shouldn't be so similar day to day that students can predict the way they'll learn before class even begins. Predictability can be boring and disengage students from the learning process. I'm really big on changing the style of lessons day to day or even within one lesson. If there's some direct instruction, group it with an artistic activity. If there's a group document analysis, pair that with some visual learning through engaging videos that can help captivate the mind. I also think lessons are exciting when students are allowed to use technology in any way, whether it be a formative assessment tool like Kahoot or Plickers. Students love technology and they've grown up with it. Give them the chance to use their cell phones for good for once instead of texting like normal. Or give them a chance to use the smartboard in front of everybody in order to fill a map, for instance. These are ways I try to make my lessons more exciting and fun for the students. Making lessons more exciting goes along with another important facet of being a teacher, which is being a learner. It is important for a teacher to always be a learner because, in my opinion, there will never be a time in an educator's life where he or she knows everything or that is content or theory related. If a teacher denies their inner learner, they may grow to be complacent in their style, and I feel that teachers should always evolve. If they hadn't, teachers today would just write their notes on the chalkboard and talk everything out. But that's obviously not the case because teachers are willing to take new ideas from alternative places and mold them into what works best for them. Now, a lot of friends ask me, hey, Jake, as a hopeful teacher, do you think all students are capable of learning? Well, I'm of the mindset that all students can learn, no question about it. I don't think there's anything that can prevent a student from learning other than a teacher's lack of effort. If a teacher isn't willing to work with students during class to make sure they understand what they want them to learn, then I consider that to be a major injustice for the student. The same goes for a student who might need help outside of class, but their teacher doesn't make themselves available to help the student learn. A teacher's day does not end at 2:30 or whenever the bell rings, but it goes after school hours and beyond, making sure that students that need the help get it. Obviously, there can be difficulties for students depending on different situations in their lives, but I am a firm believer that if a teacher never gives up on their students and gives an all-out effort, any student can learn anything, anytime, anywhere, no matter what. And a difficulty of teaching all types of students is that everyone learns at a pace that is best suited for them. This can be something that is tricky for teachers to balance. I think it's important for all students in the beginning of a unit to begin with identical assignments. As the faster students master each new skill or concept, I would have enrichment assignments and group assignments prepared for them to work independently, but more importantly, in mixed groups. And this would accomplish two things. It would keep the faster students engaged and learning, and would give me time to work with some slower learners. You have to get students of all creed and type to work together. That way, they'll both feel valued, albeit in different ways. The faster learning student will enjoy the trust you have put in him or her to challenge and the challenge of helping someone they recognize as being a slower learner, while the slower learner will enjoy the attention of someone that they in turn recognize as being a stronger learner. And as an educator, there will be times when students ask for help in solving problems. And I think I help students solve problems by maintaining my approachability, whether it be in class or after school. Students have to feel encouraged to ask for help if they need it. It doesn't help a student by just giving them an answer. You have to bridge their gaps in learning. Never let a student feel as though they are foolish or stupid for asking a question, because that can discourage them. With regards to parents, from day one, I will let them know that I'm always reachable. My syllabus will provide students and parents with my email and cell phone information to let them know that if they have any questions about their child's learning, I will be available. I am also a huge believer in calling parents out of the blue with positive news about their child. I personally feel that teachers too frequently loom the threat of calling students parent with a threatening manner, but there should be more of an effort to call parents for good news. If a student gets a first quarter consistently grades consisting of 70s, but all of a sudden in the second quarter they get an 87 and that's their highest score of the year, call that parent and let them know how well their student did and how encouraged you are by their success. This will strengthen your rapport with students and make the student more engaged in your learning going forward. To conclude, I feel I am overwhelmingly encouraged to be a supportive faculty member because you want to be a positive role model for kids in their lives. This starts with keeping a positive attitude and remaining approachable to every student, even if they're not in your actual class. A good teacher is invested in the community that they teach and everything they do to support the class and students of that community. You have to be great. I'll see you later.